What's the difference between a social media strategy from a salon owner or stylist or esthetician versus a salon sales consultant, right? A distributor sales consultant or business partner? The answer is not much. That might surprise you, but we love bringing unique perspectives on the industry, not just bringing on salon owners and stylists all the time to give you their perspective. Today, we're bringing on two salon business partners, right? Sales consultants that work with different salons, different sizes of salons, independent, suite owners on a day-to-day basis. That's all that they do. They're out there talking with salon professionals. And we're going to get their take on what it takes to be successful. We're going to look at their strategies because they're excellent examples, best practices for sure, when it comes to their social media games and how they've been able to cultivate an audience online that really engages and interacts so they can broaden their reach and connect with people, right? And all the learnings that we're going to get from them today are equally adaptable, right, or applicable for anyone in our industry who wants to better their social media game to connect, right, and engage with the right audience. So sit back, get ready to absorb a fantastic conversation with these two powerhouses when it comes to salon influence. And they have such a unique perspective. I can't wait for you to hear this. Let's go. Welcome to the Salon Scoop, a podcast by Salon S.O.S. I'm your host, Scott Moon, the founder of Salon S.O.S., and I'm obsessed with helping salon professionals live their best life. In this show, we shop talk all things salon to bring you real-life stories, debates, entertainment, and inspiration to help you find happiness and success in this beautiful industry. If you work in the salon industry in any capacity, this podcast is open to you. So set down your scissors or rinse out that toner and let's get into it. We have got a unique episode for you today. Rather than talking with salon owners or stylists, we have two salon business partners. Some of you might refer to them as distributor sales consultants. Either way, they're with us to share a very unique perspective that they have on the industry, right? These two women are not only leaders when it comes to guiding salons to success, but they also happen to be well above the curve when it comes to their social media presence and activity. We're going to learn from all of that today. We often talk about the struggles that salon professionals have managing their social media, trying to increase followers, their engagement, get more clients. Well, today we're going to see a really cool perspective on how these women are achieving results on social media to grow their network of salon professionals and getting their message to people further and faster. I cannot wait to get into this discussion. I think it's going to be really, really fun. So let's introduce today's panel. You are both industry role models, clearly, and I'm very grateful to have each of you on the show with me today. Could you take a moment just to introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Yes, thank you, Scott. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. My name's Jessica Barkhouse, and I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Very
Hi,
cool.
Scott. Thanks for having me. My name's Jen Raney. I'm with Salon Centric as a business partner. I've been with them for the last 10 years, and prior to that, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I was behind the chair full time.
Very cool. And Jen, Jessica, how long have you been in the industry?
So I've been in the industry. I've been doing this role as a distributor sales consultant for 24 years this January. And I've been with Summit Salon Services for 18 years next month. And I was a hairstylist prior to this. So a long time.
Longer than we need to mention in specific years or anything, but
Exactly.
a wealth of experience here on the show today, and I'm really happy again to have both of you sharing your wisdom, sharing your experience, sharing your perspectives, and most of all, sharing some of your best practices. So let's get into this. I want to start with some of just the warm and fuzzies, as I like to call it, and find out what each of you love most about your job as a business partner, sales consultant.
Yeah, Scott, this is probably the easiest question to answer all day. And what is in it for me and my heart is the people and the relationships that I get to build and work with every single day.
Amazing. Jessica?
Yeah, I would have to concur with Jen. I agree. The relationships are everything, between the salon partners to their teams and also with our peers and our brands. But past that, I really have to say the evolution of seeing someone's transformation really pulls at my heartstrings, because when you can see them grow and have those aha moments and really stack those successful pivotal times in their career, that transformation is such a beautiful thing to watch and observe.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I mean, you've each been in your roles for quite some time, and you obviously build, pretty deep-rooted relationships with salon professionals, and you see them, right, going through their journey from maybe, first starting off as a salon professional or as a salon owner or whatnot, and kind of see how they evolve and the challenges that they go through, and you're kind of with them side by side through that whole journey. I think it's really great. And again, why you have such a cool perspective to share with our listeners today. So, I mean, you each obviously work with very many different types of salon professionals, from, large salon owners, to medium salons, small salons, solopreneurs, booth rental salons, commission-based salons, the works, right? So I'm curious to know from your perspectives, what do you see some of the main challenges being faced by salon owners and service providers that you're working with today? What are the common threads that you see across the whole industry?
Um, a challenge that I see that a lot of my salon partners are facing in our market would definitely be the competition with retail, the big box stores, online presence. And I think it's really important that we tap into that and have different channels of our retail and our business, but also in the salon, I would have to say culture, the retention of clients and the retention of professionals, stylists or estheticians. It's really about building that space with a culture to attract what you want with a client as well as your team members.
Yeah, and I'll tag on to that. I agree with everything Jessica just said, for sure, in my market as well. The number one complaint or conversation that I've been having this last year is definitely inflation, price increases, how to maintain your ROI and your profit line. But to Jessica's point, it's also having to deal with retention, not only of their staff themselves, but of salon clients as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think that's always important to recognize, regardless. Sometimes you're out there as a independent, stylist or esthetician. Sometimes you're, a large salon owner, maybe even multiple locations, but pretty much everyone in the industry has to deal with a lot of some of these same issues. So what are some of the things that each of you do, or try to do at least, as a salon business partner to help them with these challenges?
The good thing with Salon Centric is we typically know the promotions or the big planning sales that are coming every single month, every single year. We can typically bet when there's going to be a leader sale, a hairspray sale, those types of promotions. And so really sitting down with my account and letting them know through the calendar what's coming, what's to be expected, really allows them to look at their profit margins and their ordering guidelines and see what budget they have to put towards those promotions. We can come up with the social media imagery, we can come up with all the talking points so that when the time comes, really it's kind of like the bow's already wrapped on it. Here's your promotion. You know what you're buying in financially, and you have a plan to go after that. And I think once they feel prepared and ready for something, it's not that scary when we're dealing with pricing.
Fair. Jessica?
Yes, I do agree with Jen, and it sounds like Summit Salon Services and Salon Centric is similar in the strategic planning. What I really like to do, especially at the beginning of the year, is sit down with my salon partners and do a forecast. So that way we're planning our education events for our teams, because we know that upskilling is most important, as well as the promotional side of it too. We know what is coming, but we like to do a lot of strategic promotions within the company, accessing the brand promotions, but really getting the salon team involved, and then having something with a consumer-centric promotion as well, getting the client involved. And that is really how we hold our salon partners' hands in executing the promotions and making sure that we are staying committed to our strategic planning for our education events for the team, if we're going to be doing any customer events, and really working and accessing our brands at the same time.
I love the common thread that I hear from both of you about, really sitting down, having a strategic planning meeting with your salons. And I think it's so important, if you are a salon professional out there, whether you're an independent, whether you're a salon owner, you want to make sure that you have a business partner, right? A sales consultant that you have that relationship with, that is there to help you to sit down and to sort of guide you with, some planning. It's such a critical thing. If you don't have that in your world today, make sure that you're seeking it out. Make sure that you're finding, a salon, we're calling them salon business partners, sales consultant, however you want to name it. Make sure you find one that is really there to work and support you and kind of, as Jessica mentioned, hold your hand to prep you, right? To have those planning sessions. It's really, really critical. Okay, what about some of the main challenges that each of you are seeing in the industry when it comes to marketing, right? Again, salon owners, whether it's for the salon itself or whether it's independents, they still have to market their own services. Is there anything common that you are seeing across the various types and sizes of businesses? And if not, what are some of the differences maybe between larger, salons versus independents?
So I can start with that, Scott. For marketing, I think the biggest thing that I see, which is a challenge, is time. Time management is critical for execution, being prepared. And a salon owner comes in, generally not from the business side, but more working behind the chair. So really being critical with your time and organized, so that way you are setting time for your business, not behind the chair, but working on your business, as well as coaching your team, and setting aside time for marketing, for social media. And I really encourage salon partners to not put everything on their shoulders, but to seek people that are experts in their field, so you can work with them. So, maybe a social media strategist, maybe some that can really help you with your marketing. And that way it takes a little bit of the heat off yourself, so you can excel at what you do. And I really believe in today's market that delegating is everything. So finding someone that, can maybe surpass your level of expertise, and partnering with each different person to hold you accountable, and so that way you can really hone in on what your craft is, whether it's coaching your team, working behind the chair. We really do want to encourage salon owners to not put all of their effort behind the chair, because if something happened to their business and they are the top service provider, that is a problem. And so we really want to dissect that and relieve some of that pressure. And so I pride myself with Summit Salon Services, because Summit really invests in us, so that way we can really see all these angles through.
Yeah, I actually think that's fantastic that you just said everything about that, Jessica. For me, I'm going to speak more towards the self-employed stylist for a minute, because we know in a commissioned salon, a salon owner can delegate that, or can, have the finances to have a marketing team that backs them. But for the independent stylist now, if you look at social media as a chore or as, oh my gosh, I don't have time for that, that's one more thing to do on my extremely busy day, you're never going to get to it. And so much as you would book your 9 a.m. haircut, if you have a morning that's free, you need to be booking yourself social time to where you're holding yourself accountable for it. It's written in your calendar. You have an hour that you can go through and strategically. I'm really for strategically posting on social media. I don't think you need to have 100 stories and 100 posts every single day. But I think if you do it in a format where you know what you need to be posting, you have a plan that goes behind it, it's not going to feel like a chore anymore. It's actually going to be very fun. And I think it's very interesting. I heard a statistic once, I think it was that 87% of a potential customer will look you up on social media prior to even scheduling an appointment with you. And so if you're not showing up on social media, you're missing the potential of brand new guests coming to see you.
Great point, Jen. I love your suggestion for people to, plan that time in their calendar. So many people, can complain and say, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to work on my social media. But if you ask them, or if you actually did check the stats on their phone of how much time they're actually spending on some of the social media networks, just mindlessly, scrolling through as a viewer, if you actually converted some of that time into using that social time strategically, right, from a business standpoint, you'd find that there is time there to be using it in a proper manner. So let's start getting in a little bit deeper with regards to social media, because that's one of the main topics we wanted to cover today anyways. So to make things easier for everyone listening, I'm going to encourage you to sort of follow along with what we do and quickly go and follow these two women on Instagram. So you can follow Jen on Instagram at Jen Raney. That's RANEY _ salon-centric. So it's at Jen Raney _ salon-centric. And you should also follow at Jessica _ Summit Salons with an S at the end. It's Jessica _ Summit Salons. And of course, while you're at it, you might as well give us a follow as well at salon.s.o.s. All three of these accounts, have great information geared towards salon professionals. And based on what we're going to be talking about the rest of this episode, it'd be cool to actually see what we're talking about on Jen and Jessica's, Instagram pages specifically. So let me start this question off. I'll send it to you first, Jen. What is your primary objective with your social media accounts? And we'll focus on Instagram, but if there's any others that you want to speak to, feel free.
Yeah, sure. So I have two social media accounts. I primarily live in Instagram and Facebook. I use them both differently in what my message is and in the context of what I'm sharing. But I'll focus on Instagram. For me, I want to be a resource for all the accounts that I service and partner with. I want them to come to Instagram to pull up my page to see what I'm talking about, what sales are coming, what's the holiday hot tips, what's a quick promotion. Maybe I'm feeling stuck. Let me go to Jen's page and see what she's talking about to kind of help me move the button. So just really being a source for the accounts that I service, knowing that they can come to me and find my page and hopefully find the answer or some sort of inspiration that they're needing.
Cool. Jessica?
Yeah, absolutely. To be the resource to all my salon partners and professionals, and to have like a source where you can find everything from what is new, education, what I'm up to. I try to put more personality in the behind the scenes in the stories. But just to hit on another note that Jen said as well in the previous question, that it really is about quality versus quantity. And so really deciding and being concise with your message and what you are putting out there, so that it's a one-stop shop essentially for my salon partners, so they can locate everything there. And there's a cohesiveness between my email list, because I have a group email that I send out to my customers too. So I like to have, the same message, just in a different way from social media to an email list.
I love this. What's interesting to me in listening to each of you share your objectives is that even though your target market for your accounts is, salons and salon professionals, the overall objective is not really different from what a salon professional would have as their objective to reach consumers and potential clients. So I hope people are listening into this because everybody can draw value from what we're listening to today. Both Jen and Jessica talked about how they want to be a resource, right, for their followers. They want to inspire. They want to have content that's going to inspire their followers. They want to present what's new, right, to their followers. And that's no different whatsoever from if you're a stylist or an esthetician, or if you're a salon page. You want to be a resource for your clients for all things beauty, right? You want to inspire your clients or potential clients on different looks that they can have. You want to share what's new in terms of maybe new products or trends that are happening in your salon business. So very, very similar, and we're going to learn a lot. So even though Jen and Jessica might be targeting and trying to reach salon professionals, I want everybody to listen to the learnings because they're going to apply to everybody in your own capacities. Okay, let's sort of backtrack a little bit because here we are 2024 already. Social media it's known as it's a valuable business tool, obviously. But when did each of you realize that social media was really going to be an important business tool for you? And what were some of the things you did early on to start positioning yourself that way and not just using social media, from a personal social standpoint?
Yeah, great question, Scott. I have to be honest, I jumped on very early on. I believe Facebook started in 2012. And, anything new that is going to move the needle forward with my customers, I jump on. So I can't even tell you when I jumped on Instagram as well, but I threw myself into it right at the beginning. I saw I know the impact of everything online and how fast you can move things. So really just trying to stay ahead of the curve, adapting to the changes because social media is changing, from month to month, day to day. And so I think that is important just to be able to stay on top of it. And that way, hopefully you can, inspire and facilitate that to your salon partners, especially those who are maybe latecomers and jumping on at a later time. So that way you can help navigate this social platform for them.
Yeah, and I'll add on too. So for myself, I was a stylist behind the chair when Facebook and MySpace were a thing. If that didn't date me, but Facebook I used behind the chair to promote myself. It was my one and only marketing tool that I had at the time. And so when I joined the Salon Centric team, it was my real quick, easy way. I had already knew how to use it, what I was doing to grow my salon business behind the chair. So I just converted into a new business page, started with Salon Centric, and I learned very quickly it was my easiest and fastest way to touch all my salon guests without have to physically being in front of them. So same with Instagram. The majority of my business here in town is independent stylists. And so the days of me having to go visit every single stylist, I mean, that would take forever. Nobody's in at the same time. Everybody has their own schedule. If your door is closed, I respect your privacy and I'm not coming in to bug you. And so being able to get onto social media and have the touch that I need with those individuals is so much quicker. And so adapting to that early on has been a big thing too.
So what are some of the things that you either each did and the early stages when you first we're building your social media accounts from a business standpoint? What did you do to start growing your following, right? To get the right people following you. And, maybe as the industry has shifted, right? Jen, you're just talking about, a lot of the independent, suite owners. That's, a newer trend, let's say, that's been increasing over the last, call it 5 to 10 years. But 10 years ago it was in a very different place than it is today. So how have you continued to I guess, change your strategy to make sure that you're getting people to follow you and the right people following you?
Yeah, I love that. I think Instagram's very misleading sometimes when we go on and instantly look at how many followers an account has. I've had to go on and remove some because it's not the type of relationship I'm looking for on my page. And so to really have the authentic voice in it and in talking about social media, anytime I meet with a new account or somebody who's moving into my suites or a new salon owner, we pull up social media and we follow each other and we have a conversation about it. I think early on, showing up, being consistent on it was a really big turning point for myself a couple years ago. It was when Reels was all the algorithm. So I showed up one summer and rolled out Reels like it was nobody's business. I had more engagement. I had more people following me because when you show up and you're consistent with it, people are looking forward to seeing what you have to say next. And so that was really kind of what gave me the push, is just talking about it, asking people to follow you, and being consistent in your business.
Nice. Jessica, anything that you did early on to sort of start growing your following in the right way, and maybe something that you continue to do?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Jen. It really is about consistency, showing up unapologetically yourself. So being authentic and understanding who you're trying to reach is incredibly important and powerful, because if you're just looking for that the clout, if you will, and just the following, that can actually hinder your algorithm as well, because then there's no engagement. So same thing when I'm sitting down and doing strategic planning, we always incorporate social media platforms and how we can access that through marketing, through our promotions, to attract guests, to attract potential team members. And so for myself, anytime there was like a new program or a masterclass to know, what is the new trend, I definitely would jump onto that. Now, social media has shifted in the last, year and a half as well. And so again, just kind of going back to quality over quantity, that you want to be precise, know your target audience, who you're speaking to, and engage with them online too, because you can't expect engagement on your page if you're not engaging as well. It's part of the process when I'm opening up new accounts and stylists, again, because it is such a great point of contact. I share a lot of new information with team members for a specific salon via Instagram as well. So really jumping on the trends, understanding it, and then adapting and fostering the newness of the platform as well.
Love it. A couple of great nuggets in there. The engagement piece, right? So many people they post and they post and they post, and then they sit there and they're like, oh, how come I don't have that much engagement on my posts? And we just sit back expecting people to engage with us when we're not spending any time engaging with others, right? Mm-hmm. You cannot expect it to be just a one-way relationship. So if you want to have engagement on your content, then you have to be engaging with other people's content as well. That's a golden rule in social media for sure. The other thing I want to touch on is, Jen, you mentioned it right off the bat about having the right type of followers, and that you've even had blocked, I wouldn't say blocked, but maybe dropped some people from your removed, banned them, you've removed some people from following you. And a lot of people in the social media world get caught up on the vanity metrics of having the most followers possible, but we have to look at quality over quantity when it comes to followers. And that doesn't matter if you're a salon business partner, sales consultant. Doesn't matter if you have people following you that are 1,500 miles away, right? You want to be a resource to the people within your network and territory. And it's no different from if you're a salon, so a service provider. You don't need to have 10,000 followers. You just need to have, a few hundred, great followers in your territory, in your geographic region that could actually, they either are already clients or they could become clients. And that's who you want to speak to. So it's really important to stay focused on that. I'd say let's get back into engagement a little bit, because that's obviously a big thing to be looking at. So are there any tips that each of you would share that have been successful for you to get strong engagement with your content? And again, I'm highlighting these two women in particular as, you know, great examples and best practices. So I highly encourage people to be looking at what they are doing on social media, because they are definitely ahead of the curve when it comes to their peers, you know, distributor sales consultants, manufacturer sales consultants. They're getting great results. So what are some tips that you can share that's been successful for you to get engagement?
Great question. Engagement is really powerful and very important. And I think, again, you have to go back to the beginning of like, what is your end game? What is your goal? You know, again, Jen and I both agreed that our goal is really to be a resource. So with that in mind, you want to have call to actions that really align with your goals, with your mission, what you're wanting to do. Those call to actions will create engagement, but being organic about it too when you're engaging with other pages online is you want the authenticity there, right? So you're going to grow your following organically. So call to actions, definitely. You can do surveys. You can really get your audience involved in what you are sharing. Ask them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Include that in your email list if you're doing it, so that way you're directing people to your page. That's going to increase more engagement. And make it fun. You have to have the joy in it.
Give some
Yeah, I
examples,
couldn't agree.
Jessica. Sorry, I want to come back and just sort of build on that. Do you have some examples of some call to actions or questions that you often use in your social media posts that you find to be successful?
Yeah, like I'll do market research, ask questions, specific to a niche or something, so that way I can get more organic answers that will actually help me in my real day-to-day doings, but also online. You can ask what they are looking for. You can have it multiple choice. You can already have the answer there for them, but they just have to pick one that they like more. You can do surveys, lots of ways. Tagging someone, so that way they'll want to respond and engage in the question that you're asking, but being really clear about your message and what you're wanting, so that way you're going to get the results that you're wanting as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that as well. What works for me in my social media and the most engagement that I'm receiving is when I'm talking in my stories, when I'm doing reels. And I think it's just the everyday to day things that my accounts are looking for. And so when I'm coming on and doing a talking bit in my stories, it's about something relevant. It's about something that's upcoming that I need everybody to be aware of. It's about a holiday closing. It's about a sale that's coming up. It's a hot tip on a promotion. But having a call to action on there, I would probably say every other one of my talkings has a call to action. I will put a comment box. I will put a yes or no. I will take a vote, and things like that to really get the engagement from your accounts is what I look for. The things that I've noticed that don't necessarily work for my accounts and my page anymore are the still photos, the grids. I see most of my interaction within stories versus a flat picture anymore. And I think we could agree that that's the way Instagram has been changing over the last 6 months. And I think it's going to continue to change towards that as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Can you maybe give us a couple of examples of, I mean, you talked about the talking that you do in the stories. How is that different from reels that you put together, where you're talking to the camera?
So to me, they live in two different types of conversations. When I go on a story and talk, it's good morning, here's what's going on, here's what I have coming up. Where I'm doing a reel, it's really a focused topic. It's something I'm talking about with a color promotion. It's fun, it's cheeky. It's a lot shorter, if you will, versus being in the stories. But I utilize them in two separate capacities.
Love that. Jessica, can you maybe share with us kind of how you use stories versus reels versus, traditional posts, and the different types of content that you would put into each one?
Absolutely. Static posts definitely have lost their je ne sais quoi. They are still essential because when someone looks at your page, that is really what they're going to see. Although we're seeing a shift in the aesthetic as well. So there's not that focus on having that pristine page anymore because, the platform is really moving into short video clips. So I think stories is really about showing who you are, your personality, your authenticity. Again, great to get engagement with asking questions with the question box that Jen said. And again, just showing the day in and day out of what you do. And that puts the person to the page. Whereas Reels, it's very concise and short video. The shorter it is, actually, the better it will do, because the attention span of people today, you have to really have that powerful and impactful and short. But the cool thing with the Reel is that it can be replayed multiple times, and you can have something go viral long after you had shared it. And so the content there needs to be precise and clean and cut, and the information will stay there. But your story is really about your story.
It's called story for a reason, right? Kind of important. Jessica, I want to touch upon something. I believe that you took it upon yourself to invest in yourself, with some sort of social media training or whatnot, to kind of really arm you with more knowledge and tools to help you. Is that correct? And are you open to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Over the years, I've definitely invested on my own just so I could learn the platform, learn what the new trends are. And the reason I wanted to do that too is, the fastest way you can learn something is by teaching it. So I would bring my knowledge from what I invested in, and I would actually facilitate that to my salon teams. So that way I could help them propel their page to where they need to go, aligning with their goals and their business and their strategic planning as well.
I love that. I think it just shows an amazing, dedication. And again, everyone out there, if you're listening and you're a distributor sales consultant, you have to be, investing in yourself. But I love how you said the best way to learn is by teaching it afterwards. So don't just take it and absorb it, then, go out and share it, because the learnings, as we're hearing, through this episode, are applicable to everyone, regardless of your particular role, in the industry. Even if you're not in the industry, a lot of the learnings are still very applicable, that you could apply within your own niche. So hope that you're picking up on that a little bit. Jen, can you maybe share with us, are there any particular, like as specific as you can, of a particular type of reel that tends to just perform really well for you, that okay, this is something that always tends to get great engagement, and I do this regularly? And what would that be?
For me, it's one in particular, and it's when I start any of my reels with "Hi, I'm Jen." ... I think it, for whatever reason, expands the audience. This is from the reel I've had to go on and remove some followers from, if you get what I'm saying here. But for me, it's anytime I just have a general message, or there's a business update, or there's a new business tool that I'm utilizing in my business, I will go on and just reintroduce myself, put, a list of the things that I'm here to offer and help with my salon accounts. And for whatever reason, that's the one that always seems to have the most engagement, the most new followers from.
Love that. Great tip. How do each of you measure the success of your social media activity? Do you go in and look at your insights, or, how are you sort of gauging whether you feel like it's going well and whether you need to do anything differently?
I'll start with this one. This is a tricky one, and I think it's changed for myself over the last 6 months, even to a year. I think success, I had spoke to earlier, a lot of people think it's the amount of followers, it's the amount of likes, it's that type of thing on a page. And for me, really, it's once I post something, I will engage, comment, like for the next hour, and then I'm going to walk away for the day. I don't want to be hung up on how many views has that reel had or how many people have commented or posted or liked it. And then I will revisit it that next morning and comment back to anybody that I need to be reached or touched upon. I think we get lost in the success of it being around a certain number, and that's not for me. So.
Fair. Jessica?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's really, you can definitely take advantage of the insights that you get from Instagram, but again, what is your goal? You know, and how are you achieving that? And if you again get hung up on the vanity metrics, the views, the following, you might get lost in it. I want it to be cohesive with the brand though, and with my company as well. But really, I utilize it in a talking piece when I'm in front of stylists. I bring out my iPad and my devices, and I'll help them with theirs. And that's how I utilize it. Is it's a conversation piece, and again, it's just specific to my followers. The over and above, really, I don't measure it. It's irrelevant to me. As long as my customers and my point is getting across, that's really who it's for.
Nice. Is there anything, a specific sort of advice to, let's say that each of you are going and teaching to a group of other business partners, right? Sales consultants in your opposite countries. And you were going to go and give them some advice on how to get the right people essentially connecting with their message, right? A lot of them are using social media, but they're using it sporadically. They're maybe just taking whatever their company is giving them, and just sort of pushing it forward. What would be sort of like one piece of advice that you would give to other business partners / sales consultants to start making improvements in 2024 with their social media game?
I would have to start with community. You want to start with a community, whether it's online or in person, so that way you can support your online presence. That is key, and that way you're supporting, you're engaging with each other. You also want to utilize the powerful points that Instagram has. Your location, using relevant hashtags that will be in, if you're a stylist trying to build your clientele and you're in Winkler, Manitoba, you want to start using hashtags that way. But not only that, try to find like-minded individuals as well. Maybe go on to different business pages and start engaging with potential clients or guests or whatever it is that you're wanting for your niche, your business, and start engaging with people that are from your area, but maybe in a different market or a different genre or something. And that's how you can have growth. And then you're attracting them to your page. And then hopefully the offerings that you're offering will be, channeling through your business. And I think that's the end game with social media too, is it's really about your business. And so social media is just the vehicle.
So true. So true. Jen, how about you? If you were going into Canada to teach, other sales business partners, what would be kind of your advice for them to kind of make improvements in 2024 with their social media game?
Mine kind of comes in twofolds. And so the first one I would really say is it's the first of the year. We're all kind of internalizing and thinking about our goals or what resolutions or what's the word this year that we're going to focus on. And so incorporating your business page into that and really having a vision. What do you want your page to speak to? How do you want people to perceive your page? So knowing your vision, knowing what the culture is and who you're looking to have follow you, I think is a big clarity moment. The second part into that is I ask you to analyze your business page. Your profile picture should be a picture of you, not your dog, not your food, not your boyfriend. Shouldn't be cropped. It should be a professional picture of you. Your name should be beautifully displayed in the name. And then your bio should be something quick that you are a Omaha hairstylist. You specialize in blonding and extensions. Really quick, easy bits that when they come to their page, they know it's a professional page. And then I ask you to scroll just a little bit farther. And I want you to look at your 9, which is the 9 grids that you see on a smartphone when you're on your Instagram page. If those 9 grids are of your gym workout, what meal you're prepping, what you and your dog did over the weekend, you're not in the business of hair. And so to really analyze what you're putting out to people from your business page, I think is really going to be a huge start, and maybe revamping that and adding in more things strategically that when they come and land on your page, they know exactly what you're here for.
Very cool. Great, great advice. Super quickly, because I didn't ask either of you this question earlier, how often do you post on your Instagram? You can answer separately for stories versus, what would end up in your grid, whether it be an actual post or a reel. How frequently do you do that?
For me, oh, go ahead, Jessica.
No, yeah, for me, I almost post daily. I do carve out specific time for when I am online, so that way I'm not endless scrolling. So, I'm clean. I go in, I have a mission. I do my post. If I'm sharing something on the story, if I'm creating content, again, I carve out specific time, but I also take breaks as well. And I think that's important. We also get social media kits from our brands and Summit Salon Services. So I always want to include that, because we want, in essence, I want to be cohesive with my company and their business page, even though their business page has a different goal than mine. So it's really hard to say. I generally post daily, but I think it's also crucial to take breaks as well, so you don't get burnout. And that way you can stay fresh and inspired. And I encourage people to follow pages that they also like, that is maybe similar to their business. Maybe it's not, but they have that aesthetic or the style that they like. And that way they can still have that fresh inspiration and, something to kind of guide them if they haven't taken a social media class or something. So that way, they can try to emulate something that they like while still being authentic.
Nice.
For me, I'm usually in my stories, if it's not me talking, or I'm posting something daily, if not every other day. I think my grid kind of tends to fall to once to twice a week, depending on what the message is that I'm trying to get through. But I mean, I agree with everything that Jessica said. Is just, showing up in your best authentic way. And you can go back to my page and you'll see that there are a month or two missing where I haven't posted one single reel. And it's the mental break that I need. And I need to kind of regroup, kind of sit back from 30,000 feet, see what's trending, what's working, what's not, to regroup. And then just sitting down and putting a plan together, and really showing up authentically, and having a clear vision on when I post a reel, it's because I have a message that I need to share.
Amazing. Very, very intuitive. I appreciate all the feedback. There's a lot of learnings here that I think so many different people in our industry will be able to sort of pull from. I'm going to start winding down here and ask you each one final question. And we're going to sort of go back up, as Jen just mentioned, to 30,000 feet. We don't have to stay within the social media world. And I'm going to ask you to think about all salon professionals, whether they're salon owners, whether they are, service providers in another salon as an employee, whether they are a solo, a solopreneur, independent. If you had one message to share about what a salon professional should focus on to have a successful career in our industry, what would that message be to them?
I'll take this one first. Immediately, the word that comes to my mind is passion. I believe, are one of the best professional industries there is, because we have the ability to make our career what we want or need it to be. We can work very part-time, we can work full-time, we can own, we can rent, we can be a brand ambassador. The avenues are endless, but if you don't have passion behind it, there's a reason why our industry has a really big burnout rate. And so to really just sit and think what you're passionate about and honing in on that and making that 100% you and your mission, I think is phenomenal.
That's beautiful, Jen. And I do agree. The passion and the love and the zest has to be there. I think for my message, the number one thing that I would offer to my salon partners is find your experts, find your people who are going to support you, find your experts that you can delegate to, whether it's accountability, if you need an accountability coach, if you don't understand how to read a P&L statement, get a good accountant or a bookkeeper. If you're not good with social media, find the support, a social media strategist that can help you execute it. If you're not good at coaching your team members, align with someone. And I think that, us consultants, we, take pride in being able to be and wear all those hats and support and hold our salon partners' hand. So finding that person and sticking with them through the ups and the downs. And that is my greatest advice that I would offer.
Very well said, both of you. And clearly you are both experts in your domain. And I certainly would encourage, all salons out there to make sure that you find your business partner that's really going to be there to support you, right? Not someone that's just coming in to sell you more shampoo and hair color, but someone that's really there to support your business, help guide you, help strategize with you, open your eyes to things that are important in your business. And these two women clearly do that. Jen and Jessica, thank you so much for sharing with us today and for being here. I'm very grateful that you took the time out of your schedules to really do this and share, right? This is about our entire industry community, and you're obviously both leaders. And I want you to know that your actions and your influence is now stemming well beyond, just your regional territory. And I think that's such a blessing that we have the vehicle to be able to, really share thoughts, ideas, tips, advice across borders. Here we are. We have Canada and the U.S. Together, and across all styles of different people in our industry that need it. So I hope that everyone learned something that you can take away from this episode today. We will certainly include the contact information again in the show notes so that you can follow Jen and Jessica on their social media. Reach out to them if you have questions. I'm sure they'd be more than happy, to field any questions that you might have stemming from this episode, and that might be relevant for you, in your salon situation. So thank you again both for participating today. It means a ton.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go ahead, have a wonderful day, and stay stylish. Thank you so much for listening to the Salon Scoop podcast. This show is produced by Salon S.O.S, a digital marketing agency by industry professionals for industry professionals. If you want simple and affordable solutions for any of your salon marketing needs, such as websites, client loyalty, Google search rankings, social media, or more, come visit us at salonsos.ca or on Instagram at salon.s.o.s. If you want to hear more episodes like this and help us continue to bring the industry great content, it would mean so much to us if you would support us in one of the following ways. Either share this episode with one other industry professional, and rate the show on Spotify or write us a quick review on Apple Music. We want to hear your feedback. If you have follow-up questions or ideas for future episodes, please reach out. DM us on Instagram at salonus.s.o.s or hit us up on our website again at salonsos.ca. Again, thanks so much for listening. Now go get your hustle on, keep smiling, and we'll catch you on our next episode.